What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Faraday Future, ticker's FFIE. I want to give you a good breakdown of the data points, some of the latest updates, and given that it is down 4.73% right now, where things might be going from here. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So currently 4.42% now, and there's a lot of eyes on it. So of course, I think that's a fairly good thing. A lot of people see a lot of value in Faraday, or if not, you wouldn't have the huge amount of volume. The market's been open roughly around 1 hour and a bit, and there's 23.99 million shares overall being traded so far. The average is 122. So in my opinion, it's going to far exceed the volume, the average today, because like I said, a lot of people are seeing a lot of good value in this. Just unfortunately, what prompted all of this fear, like I've said on previous videos, was just merely that whole announcement of the reverse stock split and that S3, so meaning the shelf offering, which again is kind of needed. You can't obviously have all these expansion deliveries and operations. That's very costly, and like I've been saying, fundamentally they've been doing a lot, and that's actually a pretty good thing. They've been moving in the right direction. Just of course it was going to come one time or another about them needing money, because that's also one of the biggest things that they've really struggled with. So this S3 was going to be a solution to that. But unfortunately, this 105 million was recently announced on the 27th, which in my opinion, this 105 just piggybacks into this S3, which if I remember correctly, I think this S3 is good for up to 300 million or 400 million, one of those. But still, this 105 million is incorporated in this, but because of this announcement, it kind of killed the momentum, because it was actually wanting to break outside of the 50-day moving average, which in Faraday's case is a very big pivot. So when it does actually break above the 50-day moving average and successfully closes above it, this is where you do typically see a nice run, especially looking back all the time. It typically does do that. So unfortunately, it did bounce off of that very strong resistance and is trending down. In my opinion, a lot of this news as far as the financing is kind of good and very much needed. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor though, so you guys always do your own due diligence. Just I think a lot of people need to take a step back and realize that Faraday is still fairly infant in its infancy stage. So of course, a lot of companies like that, pre-production and so forth and pre-revenue, they do need a lot of money. So in my opinion, I think this is fairly good. So if you do believe in Faraday bigger picture, take advantage of this, because I do feel that this is a little bit more of an overreaction. But of course, if you're looking at this, the latest Morningstar report, which did come out yesterday on Wednesday, does put the fair market value at 92 cents. So of course, I think that's a fairly good sign in my opinion, that once again does show that Faraday is at a substantial discount. But based on a lot of the data points, it's not necessarily the best. So right now, like I said, within the first hour and a half or whatever it is, there is currently $20,000 in put premiums being purchased versus $3,400 in calls. So based on that, people are anticipating that it is going to continue to trend down. In addition to that though, I just want to give you a quick overview of what shorts are doing before I talk on big money and so forth. So short score is currently 79, utilization is 87.3%. And as far as what they are doing today, they are increasing 7.51 million shares. So it is once again above the 20% mark. So 21.66% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 258.23 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow is just dropping as well. So if there is a good piece of news that maybe is a surprise that comes out of left field, you never know. You could see another squeeze, because what happened here, there was several small squeezes. Of course, not the big mother of all short squeezes, what people are anticipating, but there was several cases of shorts just closing out a substantial position. So of course that could come again in the future, especially as well. They did announce the second phase is going to be in August, so you never know. There might be a little bit more of a FOMO kicking in right before that. But as of right now, it does look like big money is kind of buying as well. So you can see first thing when the market did open, this is the bid, the ask, and there was 2 transactions, both of which were buys. So 102,000 and 176,000. So again, if you are one of those individuals or retail investors that likes to follow what big money is doing, they are slowly accumulating. Clearly not as much as they once were over the last couple of days, but clearly, as I said, if you do believe in Faraday bigger picture, take advantage of these discounted prices. But as far as right now, where it might be going, so currently down 4.51%, just shy of around 21 cents. It is currently trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 22.5 cents is the next very big resistance versus the 17.5 cents is the next big support. So potentially it might just be trading within this range until there's either a good piece of news or whatever it might be. But I do feel that there's a little bit more upside. You could tell that the broader market does truly want to break out. And of course that might work in Faraday's future once people kind of forget this news. I know that sounds bad, but as soon as people start to forget about the whole dilution and stuff like that, because in my opinion, ever since this was announced on the 16th, it actually was trying to go up. But unfortunately, this came out on the 27th, which kind of killed the momentum a little bit. But of course, as bad as it sounds, a lot of investors nowadays just have a very short-term memory span. So come next week on Monday, people are going to forget all about this. So they will be able to benefit potentially from the market just breaking out potentially, unless Faraday does come out with some more news as far as securing funding and so forth. But still, it is what it is, in my opinion. Looking right here, stochastic is currently at 4. So it went from a little bit more overbought to completely oversold. There is no defined trend right now, but if there's a good piece of news that does come out, like I said, that might be a surprise, you'll see a very big rush of value investors getting in. And of course, that could potentially prompt a squeeze as well. Momentum indicator shows number of retail investors are getting in today, but over the last little bit, as you can tell based on the trend, they have just been getting out. Most likely linked to just taking profits and various things like that. So let me know you guys' thoughts on Faraday in the comments below. Have you been buying, selling, holding? What is your take on Faraday? And where do you see things going? Do you think it is going to break, for instance, below 17 cents or 17.5, or do you think it is going to break higher and maybe around the 27, 30, or 35 cents? What is your take on that? If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to take advantage as well of this promo. Only a couple days left until June the 30th. Deposit $100 to get 5 free stocks plus a $100 cash reward. So this legitimately is the pure definition of a free promo. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all eventually make a lot of money on Faraday Future.